Welcome to the CyberJA podcast, the place where we discuss all things cybersecurity and GRC. I am Richard Perry, your cybersecurity and GRC enthusiast. The aim of this podcast is to provide a meaningful, value-added platform via which upcoming cybersecurity professionals like yourself can gain insights from various topics covering cybersecurity and GRC that will enable them to become professionals that the industry demands. Stay tuned for what next on the CyberJA podcast. Today on CyberJA, we have joining us Hicham Faik. And my apologies if I pronounce your name not the way it should be pronounced. And he's an executive director of Cybersecurity, global CISO, speaker, and cybersecurity enthusiast. Hicham, welcome to CyberJA.
Thank you, Rich. Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm very thrilled to be part of this incredible podcast.
Awesome. It's a pleasure having you on our show today. And for sure, my listeners and myself really look forward to having this conversation. So you are an executive director of cybersecurity and also a global CISO, among many other titles. And for many who are trying to venture into cybersecurity, they might feel intimidated by these titles and your level of experience and expertise. And perhaps many of these persons are asking themselves, how do I get started? How do I get such experiences? And the list goes on. And one of the things is that at times persons do not really understand the journey or the story behind our career experiences. So can you take us along that journey in terms of giving us an understanding of who you are and what's the genesis behind your career?
Sure. To be frank, it's been a long and very long journey to reach that titles that you mentioned. It's not stopping at that point. I'm still continuing my journey. It started 22 years back then, when I graduated from engineering school in computer science. I started working as a cybersecurity engineer, working on systems, on mailing, on firewalls, antivirus, things like it started then in cybersecurity in 2021. So after that, I got hard work that bring me to be positioned as a junior CISO in a bank. When I learned the hard way, I worked a lot on projects, on very technical projects, where I learned a lot. I got some trainings too that helped me open my eyes on the cybersecurity, and I loved it. Then, after many years of working hard, I changed from that position in the Central Bank of Morocco to join a big mining company, where I've been positioned as infrastructure and production manager. And this is very interesting for me because a CISO should have a large experience, not focusing on cybersecurity only, because he needs to understand what happened around him on the technical teams, development teams, management, and so on. During his experience, he should be open to discuss, to hear what others say about cybersecurity, their expectations, because there is a constant transformation inside the CISO to learn and relearn and learn and to get new skills. technical skills and soft skills. That experience bring me to love what was back in the 2012 regarding consultancy. I decided to change from a client-side position to join a very large company doing consultancy, where I started building the cybersecurity business unit that I led for 3 years, where I did myself many pen testing, consultancy, roadmap, cybersecurity consultancy. I learned a lot. At that point, in fact, I learned many things very interesting. That when you are on the client side position, you dream a lot. You are asking and asking consultant to do such things that are very difficult to realize. In fact, when you got the position of a consultant, you start reminding yourself that your responsibility is to bring the right things, to share with your clients the exact way that should improve the cybersecurity posture, and not just throwing up reports and big ideas that do not have any projection on reality. After 3 years in the consultancy position, I've been asked from a big company in insurance to join them as a global CISO. And at that point, reality, I started to embrace the role of a global CISO, because global CISO means not only you are managing and overseeing the cybersecurity on a company, but it goes larger beyond that boundaries, and covers subsidiaries, covers partners, and a lot of things where you have a very dispersive risks that start maybe from a partners, going through a subsidiary, and ending on your mother company. I had to build a lot of cybersecurity strategies and cyber contracts to be able to cover such risks, starting from insurance, going through awareness for different users, building contracts with the partners to strengthen how they exchange and interact with the company. After being playing that role, I found a very interesting opportunity to join a very large banking company in Africa, where I sit at as a cybersecurity director and global CISO. I had the support of the management. I had also the opportunity to hire and build the right organization, a very pragmatic organization with the right people. I had the support of HR and all what I need at that time to build training, to build a career path for these people, because I learned during the 20 years experience I had that cybersecurity will not succeed without people. You can have a lot of technologies, you can have a lot of money to purchase the very good solutions, but if you don't have the right strategy that rely a lot on people, you will not succeed. And when I talk about people, it's not only your team, but all the teams that are involved in everything that touches cybersecurity subjects. And there is something that I learned a lot during the last 5 years, is that lots of companies are talking about digital transformation. So digital transformations for the business people means they will employ lots of digital techniques, computers, applications, cloud, everything related to technology to improve and accelerate their incomes in the business. So from my side, I understood very quickly that as a CISO, you need to be seen as a business enabler. You are not the policeman that will say no to that, no to this. I'm not okay with that. This is not the right way. You should avoid, delete the term no. You are a yes man with some conditions, a yes man with solutions. You are a CISO with enablement, and you are a business enabler. This is very important to remind because success means that you play a very positive role in your company. You should communicate well. You should understand very deep the technology in order to make it very easy to understand for the business people. And if you have the right support from the top management, of course, you will talk the right way to them and be their advisor, because when they need a decision involving risk, involving compliance, involving any threats from geopolitical, for example, or from competitors, you need to provide the right solutions. It means also that you need budget. So your strategy should be drawn to embrace the business strategy. If the business strategy requires 3 years to be implemented, so your strategy should go along this period of time and make phases for your investments, for your construction, for building the teams, for hiring people, for transforming the way the business is done, like projects, like production, like IT, and so on. So I estimate that being a global CISO is a very challenging day-to-day activity, especially if you cover a lot of domains in cybersecurity, from governance, security operations, security monitoring, training and awareness, compliance, subsidiaries, and so on and so on. This is a very huge responsibility. And right now, I decided to quit a little bit that realm of responsibilities to found my company and do some business, because I think in my position, I can help a lot of companies to improve their cybersecurity postures through the right solutions, the right consultancy, and choosing the right way to reach the balance between business and cybersecurity.
Hicham, I am so captivated and intrigued by the wealth of information that you have actually shared. There is so many avenues, that there are so many questions that are actually going through my mind. And the thing is, I definitely want to have a part 2 with you once you're available. And here's the reason why. In my case, I went into cybersecurity. Well, I actually move along the various paths in terms of starting out as a computer technician, working my way up to network administration. And one of my ultimate dreams is one day to become a cybersecurity leader in the form of a CISO. And you have actually packaged all of that experience. I can actually look at the transition. I mean, based on all that you have actually explained, I know that there are many persons who want to get into cybersecurity, who want to excel, who want to advance in their career path. So I definitely look forward, once you're available, to actually go further into specifically all those details. But with that said, can you take us in terms of, for persons who are listening, they might say, it seems almost so easy in terms of your your experience, how it is that you have actually transitioned from your first role to the next. Can you spend a little bit more time to really explain the difficulties or challenges that you experience getting into, for example, your first job role, the necessary skill set, what it is that you had to do to actually move along those career paths?
Yes, you're right. You're totally right. It's, as I said in the beginning, it's not an easy journey. You have each aspiring CISO should understand that he should be responsible to take in charge himself, to learn and to be autonomous. I understood very quickly, very early in my career that I need to learn soft skills. I needed to learn how to manage people, to understand their objectives and to maintain their motivation. As a manager and as a leader, you have to understand and see what are the objectives, to try yourself to build some few strategic objectives to reach. And if you have the opportunity to have a small team, it's a very good situation when you can exercise your soft skills as leader and manager. Without these soft skills, it's very difficult to elevate yourself, to talk the management speaking and language. You need also to not forget that you are obliged to stay aware of technical advancements. If I talk about myself, I am continuously trying to get the highest certifications around the world. For example, I am a GIAC G-Start. I am CISSP since 2011. I am the CSSP. I am Certified Cloud Security Professional. ISO 27001, ISO 27005. These all are certifications that are a good self motivation that maintain yourself as someone who wants continuously to learn technical things and to be recognized, because there are some CISOs that neglect the learning curve that they should embrace, because the technology is accelerating to a pace which is unreachable to anyone. So you have to maintain yourself, to read lots of books, to subscribe to news, cybersecurity news, to listen to different podcasts like yours, which is very interesting, to learn continuously, and to talk with the community, to share, to try to write articles on LinkedIn, for example, to challenge yourself and help yourself improve. So this way of self-improvement is very important to succeed. Our job as CISO, our security managers, is very challenging, but at the same time, it's very motivating for those who seek constant adrenaline, constant motivation. That's the way I try to handle myself all along this long journey.
Those are definitely very important points, and I totally agree. And so often I try to also advise persons when they do reach out to me as well, that they want to excel in their career paths, they want to get into cybersecurity, they want to get into the various roles within cyber. But when you actually look, for example, on LinkedIn or on YouTube or whichever platform there is, their presence is nowhere to be found. And the question is, how can persons know about you? What is it that you're doing? Are you building relationships? Are you networking? Are you seeking to find out what it is that persons are doing within their job roles in order to actually learn and also be mentored by these individuals so that you can actually excel in your career path? So those points that you have actually mentioned are very vital, very important to our growth. And no doubt, as you went along in your career, you would have experienced a number of challenges. What were some of those challenges that you experienced and the ways in which you actually overcome to navigate along those various, career paths?
In fact, there are hundreds and hundreds of challenges during these 20 years of cybersecurity jobs. I would mention one or two. The last I faced the last years is the challenge of cloud computing. Because there are lots of regulations implemented. Each country has its regulations regarding data, privacy, critical infrastructure, protection. All these, I can say, constraints make some people, some managers think they are hiding behind these regulations to not embrace the transformation. So in my job as a global CISO, I had to implement a strategy to make the transformation and the openness to cloud easy to consume. To mention some activities and actions I've made in this strategy is to implement a governance of the cloud. These governance structures helped a lot people involved in the projects and people involved in the decision-making to understand the risks, to understand the mitigation solutions, to understand the contractual implications, to understand the business and economic implications of the cloud projects. This part is very important as the governance. And there are also the technical parts which should bring the solutions to mitigate cloud risks. When, as a CISO, you play this leadership role to gather people around this area and giving them the tools that help them assess, that help them make the decisions, mitigate correctly the risks. It was, in my case, a very successful domain where people from different domains, from business, HR, procurement, decision-making, legal, were gathered and tried to find a consensus about cloud adoption. It was one of the biggest challenges I had these years. There was another big challenge is to involve progressively development teams to understand and use the cybersecurity tools in their developments. This was another part of the challenge I had, and I estimate that I succeeded it, because instead of introducing all the technical solutions that exist right now, because they exist, lots of technical solutions from SAST, static application security testing, to DAST, dynamic application security testing. There are lots of small tools that you can add here and here in the development chain. I did not choose that from scratch and big bang transformation. I started adding things slowly by slowly, starting from the end of the chain and shifting left progressively. End of the chain means all things regarding cybersecurity scanning, penetration testing, with an intelligent way to provide solutions and make the right risk analysis to let people see that as a protection and not a business slower. I'm not slowing down the flow of work of these people, but I'm protecting them against different risks they face. This was another challenge. It took me 2 years to do that, but one of the things that CISO should be to be patient, really to be patient and listen to others and hear and do a lot of meditation with yourself.
Very, very valuable points. So, I mean, guys, definitely as you listen to this, then you recognize that it's not as easy as you might be seeing it on the various profiles. But we, I mean, persons within the industries, we do have so many challenges, so many various obstacles that we have to go through. But these are the experiences that actually build us in terms of becoming more efficient. I mean, becoming subject matter expert in the things that we do. And you have actually made mention of something very important, and is the fact that security technology is actually advancing at a very rapid pace. What's that last advice would you want to share in terms of how it is that you actually keep up with the changing pace of technology in terms of actually owning your skill set to become a really good cybersecurity professional?
Listen, there is nothing very mysterious in that. If you used since the beginning to read a lot, to be open to the new technologies, to be curious, and have connections with the community, to be to subscribe in community groups like in WhatsApp or in LinkedIn or whatever. You should be open to learn and be curious and read. Please read books, read articles. Don't hesitate. Concentrate your daily activities to dedicate 1 hour for reading in the very early in the morning or in the afternoon. Stay tuned to whatever is important and can bring improvement in your skills, hard skills and soft skills. This is the only way to keep up with the pace of this very challenging way technology is going. Look at AI. ChatGPT is something incredible. Lots of CISOs are having fear against it, but embrace the change. Interact with ChatGPT. You will be surprised. It can help a lot to find ideas, to find solutions, but still, it will bring some risks for sure. But you have to embrace the change.
Hicham, this has been an enriching conversation. You have actually intriguingly packaged all of this experience. You have gone into so many areas that we could build so many different levels of conversations. And that is one of the reasons why I look forward to having a part 2 conversation with you. I mean, this has been a really informative session. I really appreciate your time that you have actually taken to share so many insights and valuable nuggets of information with us in terms from your experience that no doubt will be able to inspire and to help others in their career path.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the conversation. Hope to meet you soon.
Likewise, and I definitely look forward to having further conversations with you as well. So guys, until then, stay tuned for all future recordings on the Cyber JA show with me, your host, Richard Perry.